Hi everybody. So now that everybody's sitting home, it's a great thing to read a new book. And today we're going to together read the book Winnie-the-Pooh by Alan Milne. I watched the movie and most of you, but I don't know if you read it. I personally didn't. So we're going to start today reading it with the first chapter. Chapter 1, in which we are introduced to Winnie the Pooh and some bees and the story begins. Here's Edward Bear coming down the stairs now. Bump, bump, bump. On the back of his head behind Christopher and Robin. So this is Christopher and Robin and this is Winnie. It is far as he knows the only way of coming downstairs, but sometimes he feels that there's really another way, if only he could stop bumping for a moment and think of it. And then he feels that perhaps there isn't. Anyhow, he is at the bottom and ready to be introduced to you, Winnie the Pooh. When I first heard of his name, I said, just as you're going to say, but I thought he was a boy. So I did, said Christopher and Robin. Then you can't call him Winnie? I don't, but you said he's Winnie-the-Pooh. Don't you know what there means? Ah, yes, now I do, I said quickly. I hope you do too, because it's all their explanation you're going to get. Sometimes Winnie-the-Pooh likes a game of some sort when he comes downstairs, and sometimes he likes to sit quietly in front of the fire and listen to a story. This evening, what about a story? Said Christopher and Robin. What about a story? I said. Could you very sweetly tell Winnie-the-Pooh one? I suppose I could. What sort of stories does he like? About himself. Because that's a sort of bear. Oh, I see. So, could you very sweetly? I'll try, I said. So I tried. Once upon a time, a very long time ago now, about last Friday, Winnie-the-Pooh lived in a forest all by himself under the name of Sanders. What does under the name mean? Asked Christopher and Robin. It means be bad the name over in the door in golden letters and lived under it. Winnie-the-Pooh wasn't quite sure, said Christopher and Robin. Now I am, said a growly voice. Then I'll go on, I said. One day, when he was out walking, he came to an open place in the middle of the forest. And in the middle of this place was a large oak tree. And from the top of the tree there came a loud buzzing noise. Winnie-the-Pooh sat down at the foot of the tree, put his head between his paws and began to think. It's great, the story. First of all, he said to himself, that buzzing noise means something. You don't get a buzzing noise like that, just buzzing and buzzing without its meaning something. If there's a buzzing noise, somebody's making a buzzing noise that I know of. It's your bee. Then he thought another long time and said, and the only reason for bee making that I know of making honey. And then he got up and said, and the only reason for making honey is so as I can eat it. So he began to climb the tree. I think Winnie-Pooh is going to fall down. I'm not sure if he's going to survive. He climbed and climbed. He climbed and he climbed and he climbed, and as he climbed, he sang a little song to himself. It went like this. Isn't it funny how a bear likes honey? Buzz, buzz, buzz. I wonder what he does. Okay, that's a really great rhyme. Then he climbed a little further and a little further and then just a little further. By that time he had thought of another song. It was very funny that if bears were bees, they built their nests at the bottom of trees. And that's so if bees were bears, we shouldn't have to climb up all these stairs. He was getting rather tired by this time, so that is why he sang a complaining song. He was nearly there. Now he just stood on that branch. Crack! Okay, I knew that. Oh, help! Said Pooh as he dropped 10 feet the branch below him. Oh my gosh, what an unlucky bear. If I only hadn't, he said as he bounced 20 feet onto the next branch. Yikes. You see what I meant to do, he explained as he turned head over heels. Oh, that's not nice. And crashed into another 30 feet below. Oh my gosh, crazy Pooh. What I meant to do, of course, it was rather, he admitted as he slithered very quickly through the next 6 branches. It all comes, I suppose, he decided as he said goodbye to the last branch, spun around 3 times, and flew gracefully into a grouse bush. Oh, yikes, that's painful, really painful, guys. It all comes of liking honey so much. Oh, help! He crawled out of the grouse bush, brushed the pickles from his nose, and began to think again. And the first person he thought was Christopher Robin. Was that me? Said Christopher Robin in an awed voice, barely daring to believe it. That was you. Christopher Robin said nothing, but his eyes got larger and larger, and his face got pinker and pinker. So Winnie the Pooh went around to his friend Christopher Robin, who lived in a green door in another part of the forest. Good morning, Christopher Robin, he said. Good morning, Winnie the Pooh, said you. That's Christopher Robin, like he's talking to Christopher Robin. I wonder if you got such a thing as a balloon about you. A balloon? Yes, I just said that to myself coming along. I wonder if Christopher Robin has such a thing as a balloon about him. I just said it to myself, thinking of a balloon and wondering, what do you want a balloon for? You said. Winnie the Pooh looked around to see that nobody was listening, put his paw to his mouth, and said in a deep whisper, Honey! But you don't get honey with balloons. I do, said Pooh. Well, it just happened that you had been to a party the day before at the house of your friend Piglet. And you had balloons at the party. You had a big green one, and one of Rabbit's relationship had a big blue one and had left it behind, being really too young to go to a party at all. So you had brought a green one and a blue one home with you. Which one would you like? You asked Pooh. He put his head between his paws very carefully. It's like this. When you go after honey with a balloon, it's a great thing not to let the bees know you're coming. If you have a green balloon, they might think you're only part of a tree and not notice you. And if you have a blue balloon, they might think you're only part of a sky and not notice you. And the question is, which one is the most likely? They would notice you underneath the balloon, you asked. They might or they might not, said Winnie the Pooh. You can never tell with bees. Okay, that's interesting. He thought for a moment and said, I shall try to look like a small black cloud. That will deceive them. Then you had better the blue balloon, you said, and so it was decided. Well, both of you went out with the blue balloon, and you took your gun with you, just in case, as always did. And Winnie the Pooh went to a very muddy place that he knew of and rolled and he was back all over. And then when the balloon was blown up as big, and you and Pooh were both holding onto the string. Okay, so like I understand, these are the steps of Pooh walking in the being muddy, and this is him because it's his fur. We're both you let go suddenly, and Pooh Bear floated gracefully up into the sky. Whee! And stayed there, level with the top of the tree and about 20 feet away from it. Hooray! You shouted. Isn't that fine? Shouted Winnie the Pooh down to you. What do I look like? You look like a bear holding onto a balloon, you said. Not, said Pooh anxiously. Not like a small black cloud in the sky? Not very much. Well, perhaps from up here it looks different. And as I say, you can never tell with bees. He's right. That's true. Definitely true. There's no wind to blow him near to the tree, so there he stayed. He couldn't see the honey. He could smell the honey, but he couldn't quite reach the honey. After a little while, he called down to you. Christoph and Robin, he said in a loud whisper. Hello. I think the bees suspect something. What sort of thing? I don't know, but something tells me that they're suspicious. Perhaps they think that you're after their honey. It might be that. You could never tell with bees. There was another little silence, and then she called down to you again. Christopher Robin, yes? Do you have an umbrella in your house? I think so. I wish you could bring it out here and walk up and down with it and look at me every now and then say in tut-tut, it looks like it's raining. I think if you did that, it would help the deception which we are practicing on these bees. Well, you laughed to yourself, silly old bear, but you didn't say it aloud because you're so fond of him, and you went home for your umbrella. Oh, there you are, called Winnie the Pooh. As soon as you got back, I was beginning to get anxious. I have discovered that bees are now definitely suspicious. So here's the umbrella that Christoph and Robin brought. Shall I put my umbrella up? You said. Yes, but wait a moment. We must be practical. The important bee to deceive is the queen bee. Can you see which is the queen bee from down there? No. So this is Christoph and Robin, his legs. You can't see his face because he's under the umbrella. And this is the umbrella holding. A pity. Well, now, if you walk up and down with your umbrella singing toot toot, it looks like a rain. I shall do what I can by singing a little cloud song, such as a cloud might song. Go! So while you walked up and down and wondered if it could rain, Winnie the Pooh sang this song. How sweet to be a cloud floating in the blue. Every little cloud always sings aloud. That's a great rhyme song. How sweet to be a cloud floating in the blue. It made me very proud to be a little cloud. Wow, I like this song. The bees were still buzzing as suspiciously as ever. Some of them indeed left their nest and flew all around the cloud as it began seconds of verse of this song, and one bee sat down on his nose of the cloud and at that moment got up again. Christopher, ow! Robin called down the cloud. Yes, I've been just thinking and I have come to a very important decision. These are wrong sort of bees. So, on the fourth page, we saw Winnie-the-Pooh here. Are they quite this wrong sort? So I should think they would make the wrong sort of honey, shouldn't you? Would they? Yes, so I think I shall come down. How? Winnie-the-Pooh hadn't thought about this. If he let go of the string, he would fall, bump, and he didn't like the idea of that. So he thought for a long time, and then he said, Christopher Robin, you must shoot the balloon with your gun. Have you got your gun with you? Of course I have. But if I do that, it will spoil the balloon, you said. But if you don't, I shall let go, and that will spoil me. And like I think, this is the queen bee. When you put it like this, you saw how it was, and you aimed very carefully at the balloon, and balloon fired. Ow! Said Pooh. Did I miss? You asked. You didn't miss exactly, miss, said Pooh, but you missed the balloon. I'm so sorry, you said, and you fired again, and this time you hit the balloon, and the air came down slowly up, and Winnie-the-Pooh floated down to the ground. Look at this. So these are the bees, and this is Winnie-the-Pooh down ready at the bottom, and this is Christopher Robin. But his arm was so stiff from holding onto the string of the balloon all that time, they stayed up in the air for more than a week. And whenever a fly came and settled on his nose, he had to blow it off, and I think, but I'm not sure, that is why they're always called Pooh. Is that the end of the story? Asked Christopher and Robin. That's the end of that one. There are others about Pooh and me, and Piglet and Rabbit, and all of you. Don't you remember? I do remember, and then when I tried to remember, I forgot. That day when Pooh and Piglet tried to catch the Hufflepuff. They didn't catch it, did they? No, Pooh couldn't because he hadn't any brain. Did I catch it? Well, that comes into a story. Christopher Robin. I do remember, only Pooh doesn't very well, so that's why he likes having it told to him again. Because then it's a real story, not just a remembering. That's how I feel, I said. Christopher Robin gave a deep sigh, picked his bear up by the leg, and walked off the door, trailing Pooh behind him. At the door he turned and said, coming to see me have my bath. I might, I said. I didn't hurt him when I shot him, did I? Not a bit. He nodded and went out, and in a moment heard Winnie-the-Pooh bump, bump, going up the stairs behind him. Thank you guys for joining me today reading chapter 1. Tomorrow we're going to read chapter 2, which is in which Pooh goes visiting and gets into a tight place. We're going to read that tomorrow. And so, bye.